I'm here with ALLDEEPENDS.
That's us.
So we've got Fawn, Hooligan, and John, and you're almost impossible to describe on paper, and it kind of sounds like it doesn't really work. Would you like to have a go at describing yourselves?
No. Sure. So I think we just pull from a lot of different musical reference points, all three of us, but met through hardcore and power violence. So that kind of runs through all the different genres, even when we're playing jazz or folk or whatever. It still kind of runs through the DIY ethos. Do y'all have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's kind of like if you imagine a piñata having a good time in a trampoline.
I can't top that. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Rock and roll.
Wow. Yeah, perfectly put. Thank you for that. Yeah, I can't wait to hit that piñata in a bit.
Baby, they're gone.
Full of candy.
Full of candy, and the candy is hardcore. Okay, great. Yeah, and so you've got a new album out that's called No Shallow Ends. That's on TNS Records, and it's a real genre hopper. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about making the album and some of the meaningful songs on it for you?
Sure, yeah. That was recorded in a single session in August of 2023, I want to say. And it was really just a byproduct of us sitting down while on a tour and just trying to find all these different little song ideas and fleshing them out thoroughly and pushing them as far as possible in that time period. Yeah, touch on a lot of different songwriting concepts. I've really been trying to be even a little bit more direct in my lyrics and such, and yeah, not dance around the point that much. But yeah, I am so proud of that record, and I feel so lucky that TNS wanted to put it out.
So good. What was that place that we were practicing the songs over and over again while we were on tour?
Oh, there's a pirate studio we were at.
Pirate
yeah.
studio?
In Bristol. I remember we were there for a while.
Yeah. We had a down day in Bristol and just spent like 4 or 5 hours just running through these songs, trying to figure out how they work. And I think it really captures a moment. We didn't play to a click. It was just we wanted to emulate the live experience of just leaning into the motion.
Yeah.
It came out really well, and we used a lot of cowbell.
Lots and lots of cowbell, yeah.
Can't have too much cowbell. Oh no. Fawn, I think it would be fair to say that you cover kind of most of the lyrics in ALLDEEPENDS. Hooligan, you also do some of the songwriting too. Yeah, I just wondered if either you had a favourite lyric from the album. I love a lyric myself, and yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts about what your favourites are.
Sure. The first lyric in Transgender Dysphoria Waltz, I think, is a really quintessential example of how I write. The line is an albatross around my neck to accessorize, because it's kind of talking about the push and pull of the jubilation of being able to be yourself and the fear and hostility that people have upon you. So an albatross around your neck from, I believe, Greek mythology is like a curse, but as an accessory. kind of playing with that push and pull.
I like a nonsensical word called orale in Mexican, and it just means yes or no, or it means maybe, or it means fuck you, or it means like I love you, or it means anything you want. It just depends how you say it. So it's like
purpose.
Yeah, orale. Like that.
I guess it all depends, huh? Uh-huh. Yeah, Fawn, I just wanted to go back to what you said about, being a transgender artist in the punk world. And, it would be an understatement to say that our country and the country where you were born in the US is, more than hostile towards trans people. And I wondered if performing is cathartic for you, or if it's not, what is your experience in light of that?
I'm really adamant that you can't hide. If you don't exist in public, then that's their whole goal, and people that are reactionary won. When I first started transitioning, I felt like the only time in which I could dress femininely or do makeup or whatever was at shows, because I was so worried about playing that I couldn't be worried about how I looked or how I was perceived. So I think it's really vital. And, there's at least 3 states where it's law that it would be illegal for me to play, illegal for me to perform. And I think, I don't know, I do feel some obligation to be like, I'm allowed to do it still now, so you're not going to stop me until it's like literally illegal, because it's been illegal for many, many generations.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your insight into that. That's really, really powerful to hear. And you've recently been on tour in Germany. Other than your wonderful tour manager, do you want to tell us more? That's me, by the way. Would you like to tell us more about your experiences touring? Any highlights from the tour? Maybe John, you could share a little tour highlight.
Trying to think of the highlight. It was the whole tour was a highlight for me. I can't really. What was the best? I don't know. I really don't know what the best. The whole experience was really good. Yeah, there were packed shows, and we had a really nice time playing some places that we've played before. Kakadu and what's the other anarcho place we played?
Late Figure 86.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
And then you went Rostock.
In
Rostock.
Rostock was great. Yeah, that was really unexpected. Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a bit more about how short notice that show was?
They had the shortest notice. It was like earlier that day, I think we got confirmation that we were playing that show, wasn't it? Yeah.
Like with hours to go, they pulled it together, which I think is just really testament, isn't it, to what's going on in Europe and how well they look after DIY bands.
Yeah, with 12 hours notice, they're like, okay, we can get about 40 to 60 people. I'm sorry we don't have time to cook you dinner. Which, that speaks to the level that is just such an expectation that, like, we're putting on the show for you, apropos of nothing, 12 hours notice, and we can't quite cook dinner in time. We could work something out. And like, no, you have no idea what you've already done for us. And it was a great show. It was packed. I have never been to Rostock, obviously, but yeah, I felt incredibly privileged, as I feel privileged to be here. I feel privileged to be everywhere.
And passing all the gear through the window was really fun.
That was wild, yeah.
It was heavy.
Basement sort of place. We passed it through a tiny window. All the cabs into this really sweaty basement. Yeah.
It's cool.
This wide window.
Yeah. I think Josh got stuck or something when it was like, oh, it's your turn. I was like, oh no.
That would be Josh, for sure. And you kind of mentioned that, it's a privilege to play anywhere. It's a pleasure to play anywhere. And you're kind of, you met in Dundee, you formed in Conroy's Basement, and you met at the art school. And, that's where you formed, but you're all kind of scattered a little bit about now. So what's going to be the songwriting process going forward for ALLDEEPENDS?
That's a great question. I think lyrically, I am always just taking little snippets from conversation and have just an endless list of these little ideas that can be kind of fit and stretched and pulled in different ideas. But I think the writing process is going to remain the same, of that one of us comes with an idea that's referencing some piece of music that they love that the other two parties don't know. And that response is what generates such a unique sound. You can never anticipate what the other person is going to make, and that's what gives it the real inability to define it genre-wise. Because
we used to, like, you being away in the States and like having a small window of time to, like, sort of condense the ideas down. So yeah, that's been a few years now that we've been kind of like sort of operating that way. Yeah.
But what I think is actually going to happen is that we're going to turn into a pop band and ask the AI to write all the songs for us. Looking forward to that.
It really cuts out the labor on my part. Ooh, baby.
Nice one. Okay, so we'll see what ALLDEEPENDS AI comes up with next. It's funny that you say that, you mentioned unique sounds, and I think, you are one of those bands that, like I said, is very hard to describe, has a very specific sound. Why a banjo?
I grew up playing the banjo. I love it. Specifically, the 5-string banjo is so fascinating to me because it has a drone string that grants like these syncopated rhythms that work really well with galloping sounds. And, you know, ultimately, I feel that punk is a folk music. It's music made by people you know and love to dance to in your own space and in your own love, not for money or fame or whatever, but for your own culture. It's a folk music. Also, I only had a banjo during lockdown, so I got kind of married to it.
Yeah, I feel like banjo your first instrument anyway, kind of. You sort of, you never really play guitar with a pick, even when you were playing guitar. So,
Always begrudgingly.
Well, it really works. And, you know, for those that have not seen you, I think they need to see it to believe it, probably. So, you know, we're here at MPF. You're about to play the after party at the Bread Shed. What have you got planned for us? What have you got lined up?
A couple of songs.
Couple of songs, a few laughs.
I heard that there's a puddle of sweat hanging above the venue or something like that. That's pretty hardcore, so we might have to do something with that. I'm feeling thirsty. I've not had a bath. So let's see what happens.
Oh my God.
Slip and slide. Slip and slide time, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds very fun, I must say. You're about to go on, and just wanted to ask, like, what's next for you now? Have you got any other shows planned? Any other kind of things in the pipeline that you want to share?
We have a show on the 25th of April in Glasgow at Block, and we have a show on the 26th of April in Art Antics in Dundee. And moving forward, the world's our oyster. We're going to keep planning to do silly things, excuses to be places.
Sounds good. And just one more thing. Who is the most diligent in All Deep Ends?
Josh from the Sewer Cats.
I'm afraid it's Josh.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, and looking forward to the show.
Yay.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah!
Woo!
Finally,